All right, so before we start tackling the array lists, I want to talk about, we need to cover what data structures are going to be covered, what is a list, specifically what is a list interface, and finally, what are we going to be doing with generics. So those are the three things we're going to tackle. We'll be referring to generics a lot before we actually, see them in action, so that's perfectly fine. So the data structures I plan on going over in this course are as follows. Let's go ahead and put them into comments over here so you can see them written down. So we want to do our lists. Lists are split into two types. We will be covering array lists, which is this module, and next module we will go over linked lists. So those are the two big those are the two types of lists we'll be covering. Lists, array lists and linked lists, by the way, they are they're basically super fundamental, and the linked list is probably the hurdle, I would say, I've seen. Basically, if you can understand the linked list, then you can get through the rest of the course pretty easily. So then you've got your so once we go over linked lists and array lists and linked lists, we'll cover our stacks, our queues. We're going to cover recursion so that we can go over trees. Specifically, we'll go over a binary search tree. And then, let's see. Then we'll also cover the heap, the binary heap. We should also be able to cover, let's see. We'll also then finally, after that, cover maps specifically, or sets and maps. Specifically hash sets and hash maps. And then finally, our last data structure will be the graph. So we've got a lot of things. Each line is not necessarily a full module, but I mean, like, this is a module, this is a module. Stack and queue go together. The binary search tree is one module, and the binary heap another. Sets and maps go together, and then graph's its own thing, right? So let's just go ahead and talk about what do we mean by a list. So we kind of already explained that in the intro video, one of my favorite intro videos, by the way. Very snazzy, I think. But a list is an ordered set. It is an ordered grouping, an ordered collection of data. And the idea is that basically, if you use a list, you have control over where things go in the list. So, for instance, if I wanted to write our classic example of shopping list, if I wanted to put in apple and then banana next, but if I wanted to put cucumber before apple, or if I wanted to put it, if I wanted to put it between apple and banana, or over here, or over here, it's no problem whatsoever. You have control over where you insert stuff in a list, or where you can get the nth item in a list pretty easily, right? Order matters. You are also allowed to put in duplicate elements in the list, right? So there's no reason that basically maybe you have a to-do list, like maybe you get up in the morning, walk the dog, go to school, class, lunch, class, go home, and then walk the dog again. Right? Nothing prohibits you in a list from having those two to walk the dog in there, right? So also note basically that in this one, order matters. In the shopping list, order really didn't matter. Here we've got kind of your itinerary for the day. So list, they can impose order, and that's the big advantage of a list. If you want order, you can use a list. So a list is what we call an interface. And we'll see what I mean by that in a second. In interface, though, simply provides basically all the definitions of what a list is in Java. So if you look at this and look at the documentation, hey, let me zoom in here. It's an ordered collection, also known as a sequence. The user of this interface, right, has precise control over where everything is inserted. You can access everything by the integer index, the position in the list, right? You can have duplicates. And then you have specific stipulations. It said it needs add, remove, equals, right? But anyway, here's all the things. But importantly, what this is saying is that it's a collection. It's a data structure. Here's all the things you can do with a list. So you can add things to a list. You can add them to a specific location, which I'm going to go over in a separate video, and basically show you these operations in action. We can get a certain location. We can do equals. We can check if it contains something. We can remove stuff. So there's all these operations in the list. And you can look up this stuff in the Java API. This is for Java 8, which I think if we try the 11 API, nope, that's not how it works apparently. But this is the one that Google got me. And honestly, this is still pretty up to date, I think, as far as the list. It's not going to change too much. The big difference thing over here is is you can also look up the source code for an interface. So we're going to take a look at that now.